The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment. You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the Stat Boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D-18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show.
Hello, my internet. Welcome to another episode of Stat Boy Sports Bar for February 27th, 2024. February is almost over. March is almost upon us. In the sporting world, we look forward to March Madness. Boy, oh boy, but that's a little bit later in the broadcast. As you can see, producer Jeff is in the green room there, or in the secondary window, as he is stepping in to help out a little bit today. And we'll just get right into it. Always and always, as remember and read what's on the ticker below us. If you want me to stop what I'm talking about immediately, super chat, super chat, super chat. It's as simple as that, because we greatly appreciate all super chats across the multiverse of media.
Yes, we will have our tribute to the Fallen Horseman at the end. To be honest with you, I did not load it in, and it slipped my mind because of the lateness of the hour of me getting the news. So we will have our 10 bell for Oldie Anderson at the end.
Indeed. Alrighty, we start with the PGA Tour and the Mexico Open in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Your winner is Jake Knapp. Hello, Harley Baby 45. How you doing? Thank you for coming into the sports bar. And I will bring up the story taken from ESPN Newswire. Tour rookie Jake Knapp wins Mexico Open despite driver woes. He lost a 4-shot lead in 7 holes and then held it together with a remarkable short game to close with an even par 71 to win the Mexico Open and Vedanta and earn a trip to the Masters. Knapp said he still needed to send a text after each round to his grandfather, who passed away last year, and this message required a lot of detail. Unfortunately, he didn't hit a fairway until the 8th hole and found only 2 on the entire round, the fewest in the final round of a PGA Tour win in the past 40 years, according to golf statistician Justin Ray. Thank you for that stat there, Justin. You are definitely Stat Boy approved. He never lost the lead, but twice allowed Sami Välimäki of Finland to catch him. They did end up tied with 6 holes to play until Knapp took over, getting up and down on 4 of the next 5 holes, one of them for a birdie. As you can see, the top 10 in the FedEx Cup standings are there. Matthew Pavone is still the number one player with 949 points. Scotty Scheffler at 848. Hideki Matsuyama at 825. Chris Kirk at 813. Wyndham Clark at 773. Byung Hung An is at 719. Xander Schauffele at 698. Jake Knapp, the winner, who earned 500 FedEx Cup points in this tournament, is now in the top 10 at 8th. JT Poston at 653 and Jason Day at 628. Remember, you want to be in the top 70 at the end of the season. Being in the top 10 is doing okay. Hello, Renegade. We are doing good today out here in Sevierville, Tennessee. It is a gloomy day, but we're getting ready for the spring flowers to grow. You want to be in the top 70 to be in part of the FedEx St. Jude Championship, the BMW Championship. You want to be in the top 50, and the PGA Tour Championship is the top 30. So right now, Mr. Jake Knapp is in the top 10, so he's just fine. The ladies got to play after a good 3-week break in Chonburi, Thailand, in the Honda LPGA Thailand tournament. Your winner is Patty Tavantakit. If I'm pronouncing, yeah, really. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I greatly apologize.
Yes,
it happens. This is taken from LPGA.com. How things have changed. She joined the LPGA Tour in 2020 and played in 14 events as a rookie, missing 7 cuts and picking up 1 top 10 finish, a tie for 9th at the Dana Open. But when the 2020 rookies were granted a second chance season in 2021 after their inaugural year was derailed by COVID, Tavatanakit really hit her stride, going wire to wire in her 4th tournament of the season to win her first major at the Chevron Championship, defeating Lydia Ko by 2 shots to take that famous leap into Poppy's Pond at Mission Hills. In addition to her, the Thailand native collected 9 other top 7s, 2 of which came at the KPMG Women's PGA Tournament and the AIG. Now in 2022, she adds this tournament to her resume. Congratulations indeed. And they play, of course, in the race to the CME Globe. Lydia Ko is your number 1 player at 820 points, Nelly Korda at 552, and the winner, Patty Tavatanakit at 510, Brooke M. Henderson at 349, Ayaka Furore at 344, Alexa Pano at 331, Albane Venezuela at 330, Megan Kane at 300, Se-Yun Kim at 262, and Hai Jin Choi at 252. The ladies get to play next in the HSBC Women's World Championship coming up next weekend.
All right.
All righty. From golf, we go into tennis in the ATP Tour. 3 tournaments took place for the men. The Rio Open in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, won by Sebastian Baez. The Mifel Tennis Open in Los Cabos, Mexico, won by Jordan Thompson. And the Qatar Exxon Mobil Open in Doha, Qatar, winner Karen Khachanov, who ironically not only won the singles tournament, he also won, Jordan Thompson on the end there won both the singles and the doubles tournament. So that is very impressive to him. The top 8 there is the race to Turin. The top 8 players play in one final tournament at the end of the season. Yannick Sinner is in the lead with 2,500 points with the points he mostly won from the Australian Open a couple weeks ago. Daniil Medvedev is in second place with 1,300. Alexander Zverev at 1,235. The Joker, Novak Djokovic, who is still the number 1 player overall in tennis, he is currently number 4 at 860. Andrei Rublev is at 800. Alex de Minaur is at 795. Sebastian Baez, who was the winner in Brazil, is now ranked 7th. And Grigor Dimitrov is at 715. The ladies, they played down in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. in the, let me bring that up real quick, in the Puerto Vallarta Open. So congratulations to McCartney Keller winning her first title this season. And the ladies are playing for the race to the WTA finals as well. They have the top 8. Arnia Sabalenka is in the lead with 2,335 points. Elena Rybakina is in second place at 2043. And the number 1 player, Iga Swiatek from Poland, is at 2020. Qinwen Zhang is at 1710. Jelena Ostapenko is at 1478. Jasmine Paolini at 1287. Coco Gauff at 1255. And Anna Kalinskaya is at 1237. Dory Lou found out this very interesting. Hello, Pop. Pop, I hope you're feeling better from the last time I saw you on social media. Please be careful out there. I love you greatly. If you know, you know. The ATP and WTA are structured by points. Obviously, the top 4 are the Grand Slams. They are worth the most. Renegade says, I went to Puerto. Yes, we did go to Puerto Vallarta. We went, that was when we went on our cruise. We went to Puerto Vallarta and we went to Cabo San Lucas. And that was also where you met a baby tiger with Natalie. And he decided to take a little chomp at you.
Yes.
Yes. Cute. Good idea. Go down to Mexico and get chomped by a baby tiger.
Hey, I mean, better go to Mexico than go to a random WCW event and have it happen to you anyway, thanks to Scott Steiner. So, there is that.
Yes, good point.
Scott Steiner.
The point structure, they have, ATP 1000, ATP 500, ATP 250,
sure,
and ATP 125, same thing as WTA. It's been finally found out by Dory Lou that is the number of points that is possible in that tournament towards the points to get you to the finals. So obviously the Masters tournaments, the top 4, that are Australian, French, US, and Wimbledon, are the big ones. Win one of those and you're almost guaranteed to be in the finals depending on what the other tournaments do. So if you don't play in the Masters tournaments or the Grand Slam tournaments, you got to play in the thousands tournaments or the 500 tournaments, and you have to win them. Obviously, if somebody else comes in and wins them, that's just going to affect your points. So finally, that is what has been taken. That is what all those points mean when you see them on the ATP and WTA websites.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right. We're finally in February, which means it's week 2 of the good old boys NASCAR.
Yes. They're making the left and turns and going at 140 miles an hour. The Craftsman Series starts off the weekend with the Freight 208 auctions down in Atlanta. And that name right there, that's Kyle Busch. Now, not only does he drive in the Cup Series, but he occasionally drives for Spire Motorsports in his number 7 Chevrolet. He is the winner. Ty Majeski in his number 98 Ford for Thor Sport Racings took second place. Corey Heim in the number 11 Toyota for Tricon Garage, along with his teammate Taylor Gray in the number 17 Toyota, took third and fourth. Nicholas Sanchez in the number 2 Chevrolet for Rev Racing took fifth. Caden Honeycutt in the Chevrolet number 45 took sixth for Nice Motorsports. Tyler Ankrum in 7th place in the number 18 Chevrolet for McNally Hilgeman Racing. Rajeth Karuth in the number 71 Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. He is a teammate of Kyle Busch. Daniel Dye in the number 43 Chevrolet McCamley Hilgeman Racing. And Dean Thompson rounds out the top 10 in his Toyota for Tricon Garage. The top 10 racers are trying to make it to the playoffs, but it's early in the season. Tyler Ankrum is number 1. Ty Majeski is number 2. Nicholas Sanchez is number 3. Corey Heim is number 4. Rajat Cruz is number 5. Brett Holmes is 6th. Matt Crafton is 7th. Taylor Gray is 8th. Christian X is 9th. And Daniel Dye rounds out the top 10. Points will be added in next week for certain. I got to do that next week. All right. Next race was the Craftsman or the Xfinity Series, the Raptor King of Tough 250. And we have our first back-to-back winner. Not only did Austin Hill win last week at Daytona, he won this week in Atlanta. So he's got a bit of a race streak going on in his number 21 Chevrolet for our residential hometown racing team of RCR Richard Childress Racing.
Yeah.
Chandler Smith took second place in his Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Shane Van Gisbergen in his number 97 Chevrolet for Colleague Racing took third. Sheldon Creed, number 4, in his number 8, or took fourth place in his number 18 Toyota. He is a teammate of Chandler Smith. Parker Retzlaff in the number 31 Toyota for Jordan Anderson Racing took 5th. Jeremy Clements in the 51 Chevrolet took 6th. Anthony Alfredo in his number 5 Chevrolet for Our Motorsports took 7th. Jeffrey Earnhardt, possible relation into the Earnhardt family, I would assume, in his number 26 Toyota for Sam Hunt Racing. Ryan Truex, possibly Martin Truex relation, in his 19 Toyota for Joe Gibbs. And Sammy Smith in his number 8 Chevrolet for JR Motorsports. Austin Hill, of course, the number 1 driver in the Xfinity. You win both races, you're going to be number 1. Sheldon Creed is right behind him in number 2. Ryan Rehearst is 3rd. Chandler Smith is 4th. Jesse Love is 5th. Parker Retzlaff 6th. Ryan Truex 7th. AJ Allmendinger 8th. Shane Van Gunberg at 9th. Sammy Smith is 10. Justin Allgaier 11th. And Cole Custer in the double aught is 12. Xfinity goes top 12.
So for the record, Mr. Earnhardt, Jeffrey Earnhardt, is the middle child of Kerry. Kerry Earnhardt is Dale Jr.'s brother. So he's the Intimidator's grandson. And who's the other one?
Dangerous.
Right. Ryan Truex. I would assume he's also a family, but I don't know that. So we're going to check that right now while I have it on screen before I forget. Because I do forget, it happens. He is the youngest brother of Mr. Truex Jr.
There you go.
So he's Martin Truex Sr.'s Busch Series driver grandson. But yeah, the Martin Truex we know, my mom's favorite, that is his Ryan's younger brother.
Very good.
And speaking of Mr. Truex Jr. and the Cup Series, there you go.
Indeed, a very close race to continue the season as the Embeddor 400 took place in one of the closest finish I've ever seen, a 3-wide finish as Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, and Kyle Busch all crossed the finish line. You would think it was all at the same time, but by 0.3 hundredths of a second, it went to Daniel Suarez in his number 99 Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing. Blaney ended up getting second in his Ford. So in this case, they were not first on race day for Team Penske. And Kyle Busch in the number 8 Chevrolet for RCR took third. Austin Cindric took fourth in his Ford for Team Penske. Bubba Wallace in his 23 Toyota for 23XI Racing. Ricky Steinhaus Jr. in the 47 Chevrolet for JTG Dowtree Racing. I'm already going into hockey because I'm thinking of Drew Doughty. Yeah, there you go. Yes, Ross Chastain in his number 1 Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing. Michael McDowell in the number 34 Ford for Front Row Motorsports. Chris Boucher in his number 17 Ford for RFK Racing. And Ty Gibbs rounds out the top 10. Of course, another early crash in lap 2, the second lap of this race. Hurts Austin Dillon again, our hometown, our residential favorite in Casa 3.0 out here in Sevierville, Tennessee. I mean, the kid's not getting any lucky breaks here. He gets taken out in lap 6 in Daytona and almost taken out. He did finish the race. He did not get taken out completely, but at least he still got to go on the track. And there was another issue, a very interesting rule about Joey Logano's gloves, that apparently his gloves are not sanctioned or allowed in NASCAR. There is a feature on this on NASCAR.com. I watched it and I still couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, it's a glove. What's it going to do? Is it going to make the grip better on his steering wheel? And then they said that there was webbing inside between the thumb and the fingers of the glove. And apparently you need to get every little bit of air resistance out of your car. And I guess that was possibly a reason. Other than that, my initial thought was it's a glove. Why is it such a problem? Either way, NASCAR said it was a penalty.
Ask O.J. Simpson why gloves are a problem. We're here all night, folks. Good night, everybody. Tip your bartenders. Never too soon. It's been almost 30 years. God dang it. Anyway. Isn't that scary that the OJ thing was almost 30 years ago? The trial?
Yes.
The freaking Bronco chase is 30 years this summer.
Yes, it was.
That's some crazy ass shit. Yes. Think of it. Just think about that for a minute, right?
Yeah. I remember that day very vividly. I remember I was watching the NBA finals, and then they had the NBA finals on one screen and they had the Bronco chase on the other.
Yeah. Yes. And to correct you, not Casa 3.0. Remember your residence is the Casa Adjunct. We had this discussion when we first started. When you were over moved to Sevierville. Casa Adjunct. There you go. The Casa has to contain JJ as a resident. That's the gimmick.
It's such a big casa. How about that? We'll call it.
It is a big casa.
It is a big casa.
It's a big house. It's my. Oh, sorry. It's my karaoke night. Go ahead. Continue.
We're just flying through this show. I love
we are flying through. We have a seat of our pants. Yes, we do. Did we finish with the Cup Series? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good with the. Okay. We're good with the Cup Series.
All right.
Next race coming up is in Las Vegas at the Pennzoil 400. So they'll be at the Las Vegas Speedway. Yes,
it's the annual NASCAR race, and usually it coincides if I'm out there with my birthday, because I remember leaving Vegas as NASCAR was coming in that weekend. That's when I got completely Long Island iced tea shit-faced. Good stuff. Good time.
Happy early birthday to Jeff. And Dory Lou just had her birthday a couple days ago, too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's Pisces season, kids.
Yes, it is.
All right. Anyway, before we do basketball period, because we're starting with college and, of course, the NBA story and then the news, is there anything you wanted to bring up? Do you want to do the commercial now? You want to do it after? We are rolling through this, to be fair.
Yeah, since the NBA is going to take a bit, let's take the commercial now.
Okay. So after we get the gratuitous obligatory plug for James's uncle and the documentary, which is still on the horizon, which is going to be awesome. After that, we will check out college basketball and all the things. Stay tuned.
Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. I was amazed, and I was looking to become a better skater myself, and I wanted to be like Gary.
When you look at a guy like this, he's one of the most talented people in his profession. He's been given gifts by God.
It can get frustrating at times when you're trying things that maybe don't come as quickly to you as other things. And, you never really felt that sense of frustration with Gary. It was always about improvement and positive reinforcement.
Was it really the end? Was that head injury really the end? God has called Gary to continue to be a blessing to others and to be a passionate example.
My name is Gary Hebert. And this is the World Academy of Hockey, otherwise known as the Inside Edge.
I would recommend anybody that have a chance to come to his hockey school. I think it'd be well worth it. It'd be rewarding to all the kids and anyone he coaches, from whether it's an adult, a professional player, to a little kid like a Mike or a Squirt.
Gary, from day one, has been instrumental to my hockey career. I started out as a potential Division III player, and Gary brought me single-handedly through high school and into a top Division I prospect. I owe it all to Gary, the biggest legend on and off ice there's ever been.
Listen, watch, learn, be confident, and have faith. Those are the answers I was brought to. Yet, I only now am really learning how truly important those 5 things are.
Through preparation, through appropriate thoughtfulness and thinking, we can learn to untie the typical knots between our ears that drive us into underachievement and underperformance. And lo and behold, we can learn, I think, to fulfill our God-given potential.
Gary has the innate ability to make people not only better players, but better people. The life lessons they learn from Gary are incredible.
You can always remember leaving that rink knowing as a player I got better or I had something to improve on to get better. And I think that's what you excelled on as a coach, is giving us the knowledge to know what we needed to do to get better.
There's coaches who know the game, but can you communicate and create passion in your kids and in your players? And Gary's able to do that.
Gary's got great knowledge and the great hands, but more importantly, his ability to connect with people and care for them. His communication skills, to me, really stand out, separate him, and that's why he's one of the best, in the world.
Gary's a legend. He's a special, special man.
Indeed, he is a special, special man, and that documentary should be coming out soon.
Yes.
It still gets better every time we see it.
All right.
The world of hoops, of college basketball. We are in week 16. We're getting closer and closer to March Madness as all 32 conferences are getting ready to gear up for their mini tournaments, which will then allow them entry into the Sweet 64 or the starting 64. And that's going to be fun to put together. But Houston is your new number one team this week, gaining up one spot. Purdue is up one spot. UConn is down 2. And the Tennessee Vols are down 1, but they are still in the top 5. And Marquette is up 2. Kansas is up 2. Iowa State is down 2. North Carolina up 1. Duke is down 2. Auburn is up 3. Creighton is up 3. Illinois is down 1. Crimson Tide still in the top 15. They only drop 1 spot, and Baylor drops 4. Kentucky up 1. St. Mary's up 1. South Carolina up 2. Washington State up 2. San Diego State up 1. And Dayton almost with the roller coaster drop at 5. 4 new teams added to the top 25 this week: Utah State, Gonzaga, Florida, and South Florida. Although it says week 15, it should be week 16. That was my mistake. South Carolina and Ohio State are still the number one, the Ohio State.
There you go.
You just say Ohio State. You have to say the Ohio State. They are still the number 1 and number 2 teams. Texas Longhorns, don't mess with Texas. Number 3, Stanford at number 4, they drop a spot. Virginia Tech goes to number 5, they drop 3. Iowa at 6. USC Trojans stay put. UCLA right on their heels as they go up 4, along with LSU. They go up 4. UConn goes up 5. Oregon State drops 2. North Carolina State with the roller coaster drop at 6. Colorado drops 2. Indiana stays put. Kansas State also with the roller coaster drop, dropping 5. Gonzaga stays put at 16. Notre Dame goes up 2. Utah stays put. Syracuse drops 2. Oklahoma goes up 3. Baylor goes up 3. Louisville drops 2. Creighton drops 2. UNLV gets added to the list, and West Virginia drops 3. All right, friends. Now,
okay. Yeah, the
2
NBA
stories.
Yeah.
This has not happened in a while. It's getting closer and closer to the playoffs. Tensions are going crazy, and the majority of it started last night between the Pistons and the Knicks. Here's what happened. The Knicks and the Pistons were getting closer and closer down to the end. The Pistons actually had a 1-point lead going into the final minute of the game. Quentin Grimes made a driving layup to give them the lead. The Knicks came down the court, and Brunson misses a 3-point shot in an attempt to win. The ball goes loose, and Quentin Grimes, who made the shot or to give them the lead, grabs the defensive rebound, but then the ball gets knocked loose. As it gets closer and closer as time is running down, that event in the picture takes place. The ball almost gets intercepted by Asir Thompson and Brunson. You can see the referee is right there, but the play does not stop. They collided into each other.
Oh, geez.
They kept going. Josh Hart gets the ball, makes a layup, giving the Knicks the lead with literally 2 seconds left on the clock. I know. Coach Monty Williams was not too happy. And you can see in the next slide, that is his look of shock and disgust. Of course, the media is saying he is infuriated. The Knicks ended up winning after a couple free throws, so the Pistons really didn't have that much time left. There were only 2 seconds in the game. Coach Williams then went back to the media area, and he was there before the media even got there. As soon as the media gets set up, he just goes into the referees by saying, quote, "The absolute worst call of the season. We're sick of hearing the same stuff over and over again. We had a chance to win the game, and a guy dove into Asar's legs, and there was a no call. That's an abomination. You cannot miss that in an NBA game, period. That situation is Exhibit A to what we've been dealing with all season long, and enough's enough. You cannot dive into a guy's legs in a big-time game like that and there be a no call. It's ridiculous, and we're tired of it. We just want a fair game called, period. And I've got nothing else to say. We want a fair game, and that was not fair. I'm done." He gets up and he
did it. He got up and just left. Did not even bat a friggin' eye, man.
Crew chief James Williams did put out a quote via the AP saying, "Upon post-game review, we determined that Thompson gets to the ball first and was deprived of the opportunity to gain possession. Therefore, a loose ball foul should have been whistled on New York's Dante DiVincenzo." So the referee admitted that he made a mistake. Apparently, though, nothing yet is being done about it.
Right.
There is a rule in the NBA that says a game can be replayed, or that portion of the game can be replayed. But that hasn't happened in over 30 years' time.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's almost like the referee's call is final. The Knicks win 112-111. Detroit just keeps on losing.
Yeah.
And they're not saying, and they're saying, you know, they're getting
different game. Sorry, different.
Yeah, different game. So, you know, I mean, and of course, on all the media announcements, of course, Stephen A. and had to give him his 2 cents.
Oh, sure, of course he did. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. He's saying that there's a referee problem. Okay. First of all, they're only human. Okay. People make mistakes all the time. Look at me. All right. I'm going to pass up to my mistakes. It's going to take a while to get there. What can be done about it? I mean, what are you going to do? AI is not sophisticated enough to make these calls. You know, even the calls in baseball with the strike zone and hitting the ball on the line in tennis, there's still room for human error.
You'd be surprised how sophisticated AI has gotten, though. To be fair, I'm sorry. I tell you, please, no. But it's one of those things that, you know, how long do we allow? And I say we, like I'm actually part of any freaking sports thing, but fuck do I know? I'm just a fan. The only problem is, you know, AI has been shown to work. But again, how do you implement it universally across the board, right? How do you have an AI, you know, call balls and strikes? How do you have an AI call outs, you know, out in the field? You know, you have to have some sort of setup. On basketball, there are so many literally moving parts. You know, it's just there's a lot to have to take in, and you know, JJ makes a valid point, and I will invoke baseball on this. Yes. You know, has the referee missed other blatant calls in the past? If he has, suspend him for the violation termination. I don't know. I don't follow basketball. I think everybody knows that by now. I'm not aware of this guy's trend. I'm sorry.
That referee, I don't believe he has, but in baseball, if you remember a couple of years back, there was a blown call that would have taken away a perfect game from somebody.
Right.
And, you know, whenever, and currently in NFL too, there was a referee situation where he was not allowed to call the playoffs because of a bad call or a missed call. So I can agree with what Renegade is saying. Make it a progressive thing, but at some point, the league has to step in and say, okay, the outcome of the game would have changed.
Yeah,
Loose ball foul with 1 point left, with 1 point down, and a few seconds left in the game. That would have started a reset, and maybe Detroit would have won.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest referee violator, everybody in sports is, Angel Hernandez in baseball. He's the absolute worst umpire in the history of the freaking universe. He only has a job because of, previous lawsuits and things like that, or he'd be sitting there, refereeing T-ball games at this point, because he's that fucking bad. No. He is the absolute shits. He's awful. But I don't know. I think the human element of sports officiating has long been a point of contention across all sports. So I don't necessarily, and as a matter of fact, they've taken that and woven into wrestling by having referees make bad calls or biased calls or whatever. So the wrestling's made it part of the show for so many years now. But at the same time, when you're in competitive athletics, like we talked about, that call in the Detroit New York game could have, it very likely would have changed the sway of the game, overall. So it definitely needs to be looked into. It definitely needs to be addressed properly and not just swept under. I admire the coach, Detroit's coach, for just going in there and doing the Frank Meacham philosophy. State your name, state your business. And he left. He didn't let anybody reply to him. He didn't let anybody. He just said, this is what needs to be done, and he's out. And he's absolutely right, for the record. And again, my opinion, I had to tick her up, but I want to make sure we have the other ticker so you can see it. So there definitely needs to be some sort of universal sweep across the board when it comes to refereeing. And I don't know how you take the human element out of it without just going fully computer, because people, pronouns now, are human. So how do you reconcile that? I guess and you can't just stop sports. You can't just go, okay, well, we need to stop everything and do a universal reset across all sports, because then corporations get involved and money gets lost, and it's not like we can just do that. That is the unfortunate way of things, is that sports can't shut down, especially in this country, without a severe hiccup in financial losses across the board. It is unfortunately what it is. And I feel that, Fanny, man. It's hotter than shit in this house too. We're getting the heat back in February after a very, very chilly winter across the country. So
I mean, it's still 60 degrees outside, but we're getting the heat inside.
Yes. Yeah. It's, we finally hit the 70s yesterday. I was like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
it's California, so we're supposed to be at 70 freaking 2.
I can't wait for the 70s in Tennessee. I just don't want to look for the 90s in the summer. Or
the problem with 70s in Tennessee is you get that sticky icky too. It's like, wow, get off. So the other NBA story, good Lord, it never ends.
And just when you think things can't get any worse, a few days before this, between the Pelicans and the Heat, as you can see, this is how it started. Kevin Love fouls Zion Williamson by giving him a bear hug after going up for a shot. Najee Marshall is the player in the second picture there. He is then deciding, well, I'm going to go over and talk to Kevin Love and Zion Williamson. Jimmy Butler comes in, and before you know it, Guns Militia, 5 o'clock in the morning, being taken out by an ambulance. A big old brawl takes place. And they tried to bring it to calm it all down. It didn't happen that way. A second brawl breaks out. And so the NBA decides to suspend the 5 players involved: Jimmy Butler, Najee Marshall, Thomas Bryant, Jose Alvarado, and there was one other, Nikolai Jovic, all suspended minimum 1 game. Zion and there was one that were one that were suspended for 3 games as well without pay, technical fouls left and right. I mean, it's basketball. Basketball, I believe, is a little bit more heated than, basketball and hockey fights are 1 and 2. I think basketball, you play on the streets, all hell breaks loose, possibly.
Right.
Hockey, they go at it one after the other. But now, there are players being suspended left and right because it's the playoffs, essentially. Without it, it's the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just not worth it at the end of the day either. What are you going to get other than a suspension? But
Yep.
it's only 1 game and a couple got 3. So it's not so bad, but still. Of course, everybody remembers the Malice in the Palace incident with the former Ron Test. That's a thing, and then it happens.
It does. It's true.
It's a violent sport. It's fun to watch. What does this mean in the power rankings? Let's take a look and see where every team is lined up. Boston is still the number 1 team at 45-12. 11 straight weeks they have been dominating the NBA. They are the number 1 overall team in the league. Oklahoma City and Minnesota just swapped places. They are both tied at 40-17. Oklahoma has the advantage at 121.5. Minnesota is at 113.6. The defending champion, Denver Nuggets at 39-19, move up 2 spots. The Clippers, who have announced that they will be changing their logo next season. So this will be the last time we use that logo in the power rankings. They are at 37-19, tied with the Cleveland Cavaliers. It comes down to points, 117.6 to 114.4. They flip-flopped. We go over to column 2. The Bucks are at the top of that column at 37-21. They've stayed put for 3 weeks. New York moves up 2 spots, 35-23. Phoenix at 34-24, tied with the New Orleans Pelicans at 117.5 and 116.1. They flip-flopped as well. The Mavericks at 33-24, tied with the Sacramento Kings and the Philadelphia 76ers at the top of column 3. Mavericks moved up 1, Sacramento moved up 1, and Philadelphia dropped 2. Indiana stays put actually at 33-26 for 3 weeks. Miami and Orlando swapped. Lakers stay put. Golden State stay put. Chicago stays put at the top of column 4. Utah stays put. Another flip between Atlanta and Houston. Brooklyn stays put for 6 weeks. Toronto moves out of column 4 and swaps with Memphis at the top of column 5. And everybody else stays put. Portland, Charlotte, San Antonio, Washington, and Detroit, all staying put where they are. As far as the playoffs go, not much really happened. There weren't very many changes in the rankings or in the seeding for the NBA playoff picture. Celtics are still the number 1 in the team. The only big change there, the Heat moved out of the play-in seed spot. They are now number 6 in the East. So your top 6 in the East are Boston, Cleveland, Milwaukee, New York, Philadelphia, Miami. The remaining 4 that will play to be like the wild cards are Indiana, Orlando, Chicago, and Atlanta. Brooklyn, Toronto, Charlotte, Washington, and Detroit, they are getting closer and closer to elimination. In the West, the Timberwolves are still the number 1 team, followed by the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Clippers, the Nuggets, the Pelicans, and the Suns. No major change anywhere else, really. They all pretty much stayed the same. So we'll see where that goes in that.
All right. Time to go to the link. No, not links. That's golf. Rinkside. There we go.
Then we go to the rinks.
Rinks, yes. Rinkside, yes.
We are at the midway point for the PWHL. So their season runs until mid-May. And new number 1 team, the team from Montreal, has the lead at 24 points, 5 wins, 3 overtime wins, 3 overtime losses, and 2 losses. They have 24 points. Minnesota's at 21. Toronto's at 19. Boston's at 18. New York is at 16. And Ottawa is at 13. Midway point for them. Again, TSN has all the ladies hockey, and of course you can find highlights and things on YouTube. As far as the good old NHL, let's see where the teams are going here. The Canucks and the Bruins are tied at 82 points each. They have stayed put at 7 weeks. The Canucks have the better record, so they are still the number one team. One more point, and the other one doesn't, and we might have a new number one so late in the season. Rangers at 81, Florida at 80, Dallas at 79, Winnipeg at 77, Colorado at 75. Carolina rounds out column 1 at 34, 18, and 6. They have stayed put for 2 weeks. Toronto moves up to column 2 at 74. Vegas at 71, Oilers at 70, tied with the Red Wings. 2-game lead, 34-20-2 against 32-20-6. Tampa Bay at 69, LA at 68, Philadelphia at 67, and Nashville Smashville makes its first appearance in the column 2 at 66 points. They currently have the second wild card spot. They are 2 points behind the Kings. I'll go over the playoff picture in just a bit. Washington leads off at column 3 at 63 points. St. Louis drops to 62 points. They are in column 3. Tied with the Devils, the Wild, and the Islanders. All 4 of them have 62 points. They are still in the wild card race. Flames at 61, tied with the Kraken. Pittsburgh rounds out column 3. Buffalo at the top of column 4. Ottawa moves up 2 spots. Montreal drops 1. Arizona drops 1. And the remaining 4 teams of Columbus, Anaheim, San Jose, and Chicago all stay put. But San Jose and Chicago are tied at 35 points. So Chicago could move up if they ever decide to win a game. And well, I mean, they had their chance, but they are on life support right now. Did not get the playoff picture in, but it's over here on the stat board, 9,000. Chicago and San Jose each have 35 points. Nashville holds the fate of eliminating them. Chicago has 23 games left in the season. San Jose has 26 games left in the season. Chicago can score no more than 81 points. San Jose can score no more than 87 points. So if Chicago loses 8 games or Nashville wins 8 games, that would give the Kings the chance to eliminate Chicago and San Jose. Remember, it's wins and losses combined. So right. Chicago has an elimination number of 8, and San Jose has an elimination number of 11. In the Central and Pacific divisions, your top 3 teams are Dallas, Winnipeg, and Colorado. In the Pacific, it's Vancouver, Vegas, and Edmonton. Of course, last night's game between the Kings and the Oilers was for the number 3 spot. If the Kings would have won, they would have the number 3 spot. They still hold on to the first wild card spot. If the playoffs started today, they would open against Dallas on the road. Dallas versus LA. In the East, your top 3 teams are the Bruins, the Panthers, and the Maple Leafs. In the Metropolitan Division, it's the Rangers, the Hurricanes, and the Flyers. The Red Wings and the Lightning have the wild card spots. Columbus is they're okay. Their elimination number is 15. They still have 25 games left to play. What's happening with the Kings here, sir? What's going on?
They go on the road. They play well. They come home. They suck. End of story. It's frustrating. They beat the Ducks in a shootout.
We can give it a limit. I'll give you that one.
Oh God, it was so fucking. So my dad, my went to that game. Was it Dylan? No, Patrick went to that game with my dad. They ran into hazy knowledge at the elevator because it was a crypto, and it was one of them. Probably Hayward mentioned. It was a good game. Much needed points, and my dad looked right at Brian and goes, "No, Hazy, we needed those points way more than that. It was a good thing we won." Even Hazy couldn't even argue. And he's like, "Yeah, okay." It's like because the Ducks are so far down that list. Man, we're beating the Ducks in a shootout, which is just not supposed to happen. The Ducks are so bad right now, and they're taking us to a shootout. And then Edmonton comes in, or we go up at Edmonton, and it's like, yeah, let's just bend over. We're at their place. Let's just go ahead and make it. Golly, and now they're flying to where the hell are they going to now? Calgary? Yeah.
It's either Calgary or Winnipeg. Yes.
Yeah, it's like I hate these Canadian stretches, man, because when we're going in playing as we've been playing, it's difficult. And I say I don't care. It's my team. Fuck it.
It is your team. Yes.
It's been my team it's in my DNA at this point. It has been for years, but they play so well on the road, it seems like, and then they come home and they get that hometown air, and then they taper off again, and then they're going back on the road. They should have had a better game than they did, whatever it was yesterday, and it's just bad, so hopefully they can recover on this little sojourn through Canada. But man, I've said it all season, the Kings roster is too good to be gripping onto a wild card spot with all their might. Like they again, Vegas has been consistent. They're starting to fall off again, which is nice. Edmonton's just been fucking unstoppable until very, very recently. So there's no even arguing that. But Vancouver upsets me that they're doing this well. Fucking Canucks. Don't like it. Can't make me. Not gonna. As far as the teams that are on the cusp of elimination, I think that's why the New Day wore the Shark jersey yesterday on Raw. They're trying to infuse them with a little power positivity because they suck so bad. Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks have the hottest talked about rookie in the world. They can't spank their own ass with both hands. It seems like it's very frustrating for them. I'm sure.
And now he wears a bubble helmet to protect his face.
Oh yeah, gotta protect that face. It's the face of the league right now. It's a rookie baby face. But anyway, we'll see. It's February 27th, so we've still got another month and a half to go before the end of the season. So we time will tell. All I know is I'm looking forward to it. I know we're going to be going in a couple weeks to pick out our new seats.
All right.
Well, no, not all right. It sucks. We're being forced to move. We've been in these seats at this arena for 25 years. 25, and then we were in our other seats, we were in the Forum for 20 something before that. So it's unfortunate that the corporate structure is making loyal people have to make decisions when we shouldn't have to. But again, I'm not in that, and I don't pay for those seats, so what do I know?
Let's take one more quick break, and then we'll do our tribute to.
Oh well, I don't have any other commercial breaks, so I'm just going to go into the skills.
All right, then let's just go straight into it. Then go ahead and.
So originally, I had Meech's Musings tagged for tomorrow at 6 p.m. 3 Pacific because of my impending busy on Thursday. Then I realized I had that date wrong because I can't schedule properly. So tomorrow, I will actually be at the LA Breakfast Club meeting Chris Crump. The son of Disney Imagineering legend Rolly Crump, as well as Bob Gurr. They'll both be there tomorrow. If you're a member of the LA Breakfast Club, or if you're interested in tickets, it's on their website. So I will still be going live Meet Musings on Thursday, as usual, at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. So be looking for that. AEW Revolution, Simply Predicting, Noah, JJ, and company will be predicting that show on my birthday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, March 1st. We will finish off our push bench repackage scenarios on open mic night this Saturday, whether or not the NWA gives us hard times to watch live as it happens. We still don't know if that's going to be a thing. They haven't made an official announcement about that yet. If the NWA does make hard times available to us in real time, we will be doing a watch along of that. But either way, we'll be on open mic night after that. Sunday, of course, the show time for the final time. It is Sting's last match, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific on Sunday night. Going to be an interesting night for all of us longtime fans, I'm sure. Still kind of reconciling all of it, to be honest with you. NXT will be live with Roadblock, their TV special, next Tuesday, March 5th, following this show. Staff Boy Sports Bar will be on the air with our coverage of NXT Roadblock after that. Dads will return next Wednesday, March 6th, and be on every other Wednesday going forward. I got to confer all the deets with JJ on that, because on every other Wednesday, It's the return of the Greg Cherry Show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back on that show March 13th, immediately preceding the big AEW Dynamite episode in Boston. That's with 2 S's in Boston. Big business. Jack of all trades returns 2 weeks after that, March 28th, and then we will officially kick off WrestleMania week with open mic night on March 30th, Saturday night, with our wrestling themes karaoke, the second annual edition of that. So much more coming up. I can't encourage everybody enough to get out there and subscribe, like, do what we do, and make sure you're watching, because that's how we make the money, is by you guys watching. There was a loss in the wrestling world late last night, that kind of got fed into me after I was already off the air talk wrestling. I will put that graphic up, JJ. Thank you for reminding me. I need to load that back in. It's not in this particular room, so I will find it.
Every incarnate, it was the original, one of the original.
Well, hang on. Let me get to that in a second. I'm trying to find there it is, the graphic for Datilla, because JJ mentioned it in a comment. I forgot to plug her.
Oh, okay.
So, as a reminder, if we get our buddy Datilla at Rangers of Wrestling to 10 more subscribers, 1,000 subscribers on her channel means Datilla will be doing reviews, much like she does of Raw and Dynamite and SmackDown each week. She will also be recapping the NXT premium live events, like Stand and Deliver coming up for WrestleMania week, as well as Roadblock, which is tomorrow, and the specials, which is like the Roadblock tomorrow, excuse me. So make sure, subscribe to Rangers of Wrestling on YouTube at Rangers of Wrestling. That's everybody Datilla. Also, while I'm thinking about it, donate to the Road to Rebellion. Get our buddy, the Renegade JJ Williams, to Rebellion. He will be attending with Attila and I the live premium event Rebellion on April 20th, as well as the Impact Taping the next day. You can donate to that cause directly at paypal.me/Renegade JJ Williams. Thank you, JJ, for the reminders on that. It's been, like I said, it's been a crazy organization day. I also completely neglected to plug my buddy, the LA Dolls, coming up in Santa Monica on March 8th, next Friday, at Harvell's on 4th Street, and our buddy Jesse Fury and the Sound coming up at the Hotel Cafe the night of our wrestling karaoke. So if you are not if you're in the LA area and for whatever reason you want to watch us sing like jackoffs and book your wrestling themes, go give Jesse Fury, my buddy Nikki Stevens, and everybody a listen over at the Hotel Cafe. Pretty cool venue. Been over there, so got to look at it. So again, all the things coming up. It's WrestleMania season. There's always something going on. But yeah, what I was saying before I realized I'd missed the plugs, there was a passing overnight. Actually, last night after I was off the air with Talk Wrestling, founding member of the Four Horsemen, one of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, just a legend. You hear a lot of chatter about Ole over the years and his grumpy status, but as I pointed out on social media, without Ole's vehement hate of one Dusty Rhodes, I don't think there would have been a true American dream that sustained as long as he did in wrestling. Now, the Horsemen, Ole specifically, for being honest, really fueled that fire with Dusty and Magnum and everybody. So, Alan Rakowski, Ole Anderson, may you rest in peace and ride far and long, my friend. And that'll do it for me. So if you want to do the step way out, we'll run the thing and we'll say goodnight.
Indeed, Ed will. I will just say I will concur, and riding off into the sunset Horseman style. Tough way to go, but hey, it's riding off into the sunset forever. God bless you, sir. Thank you for all what you did in wrestling. Wrestling is Horseman. Horseman is wrestling. Bottom line. I love you all, family. Thank you all. I will see you all next week. Remember, Four Horsemen. Stat Boy out.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.